Hello and welcome to After Hours. Many people have heard of neighborhood houses and family places. They offer social outreach programs. And now with the expected arrival of many refugees, I thought it would be a good time to take a look at exactly what these programs do offer. And with me today is Maya Maute with the Marpole Oakridge Family Place. Thank you for coming down, Maya.
Thank you for having me, Rhonda.
So what are family places?
Family places are welcoming places in the community. There are a host of family places around the Lower Mainland, Marpole Oakridge Family Place being ours, but there are others on the East Side Family Place, Richmond Family Place, West Side Family Place, etc. And what we're designed to do, and when we started, when Family Places started 40 years ago, it's really filling a need in the community where we found, and at the time found, that families can be very isolated, particularly families with very young children, where we have immigrant families, single parent families, and today what we find even more is we have grandparents raising young children, and they're coming from different parts of the world and also quite isolated.
I see. What is the difference between like a family place and a neighborhood house? Are they essentially the same thing, just a different name?
I'd say it's a different niche or target. I mean, family places really are for families. We're open largely for the group that has children pre the school years. So we say newborn to 6. It's a safe place to drop in. We have drop-in programs. We have structured programs, but really it's a place that, you know, once a mom or a grandparent is tired of looking at those 4 walls on a Monday morning, they can just drop in, come say hi, come have a cup of coffee or tea,
and sort of
fellowship and find that connectivity that might be otherwise really hard to find at a neighborhood house, or not as readily at a community center in that kind of drop-in atmosphere.
Right. So Marpole Oakridge Family Place, how did that start up?
It's a good question. So it started 40 years ago in someone's home. It was a person that saw a need. They saw people being isolated in the community and started there.
Were they in social work already?
That I'm not sure, but likely. And I think because many started at the same time, it was realizing that there were people out there that needed to connect and needed to have a safe place to go. And we started from there. We were part-time in the Marpole Community Center as well. For a while, for a long time, we were in the Marpole Place building until they had a flood.
Yes, I heard about that.
So yeah, but the community has been absolutely fabulous, finding homes for us, finding places for us, and at the moment we are down at 8877 Selkirk in the Marpole area.
Yeah, so my understanding is that you were located in this one location for a long time. Then there was this terrible flood, and it kind of wiped everything out. And they basically gutted the place, and then you were left without a place to go. So now you've relocated, and this is temporary, and you're still waiting to see if you can go back to your original location?
We would love to go back. So yeah, we are in waiting mode, but the community has been absolutely fabulous, always finding a place for us, and we are happy to be in the heart of the community still, serving the people.
And you run programs for seniors.
We do. So it did start with more families, and sort of traditionally it was, single parents at home. But what we found is, as I mentioned, that there were more seniors raising children, and seniors from outside of Canada that didn't have a network here. So we have branched into more of a seniors programs. We offer a weekly seniors program on Thursdays from 12 to 3.
And what do they do there?
They connect with each other. They've also started this great thing. They've started to use dance, and they get together for fitness, and they do these dance performances. They're seniors, often from sort of a Chinese background, and they go out into the community, into senior centers, and they have performances, and they just have fellowship amongst each other, and they support each other from there.
Yeah, somebody I think I know said that they attended, I don't know, I think it may be your place, and they did a bridge afternoon, the afternoon bridge games or something.
Yeah, there's more actually. There's also Marpole Family Place is an outreach, but we also cooperate with other outreach programs. So, for example, St. Augustine's Church, which is just up the block from us, with the City of Vancouver, put together funds for seniors outreach coordinator.
Right.
We cooperate with them and offer programs for seniors or vulnerable adults through different programs. We have dinner evenings, we have morning brunches, just to reach them and see what services they need, and to be able to offer what they need in their life at that particular moment.
Right. And with the kids, when people come and they show up with their children, is it like a big play space, or do you have like a special program that you take the children through? Like, how does that work?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to go through that. So we've got this large, fantastic room, and it has different corners in the room. We have a corner that's a reading corner. We've got a corner that's tables with coloring books. So although the morning is entirely drop-in, 9 to 12, Monday through Friday, we also offer through that time different programs that if you're there, you're welcome to join. Others can drop in just for that program. And the kind of programs we do, we have circle time, where we do singing, we have craft time, we have music, so we do different music programs for the children and the adults. So we do try and make it as sort of low barrier as we can in terms of just coming by, and if you're here, join along, or if you have a special interest on learning early childhood development, we offer those as well.
Funding. Where does the funding come from for these programs?
Yes, funding. So there are three different sort of funding areas. One, we have the granting programs that we apply for every year, and the grants come from that we apply for come from the City of Vancouver. They come from the Ministry of Family and Child Development.
That would be
Services.
provincial?
That's a provincial agency. The BC Gaming Grants is also a provincial agency, and some through the Dakota Literacy Program, which is another nonprofit that donates resources and funds to the family places. So that's the one area, that's the granting, and that's a fairly significant part. That's about 40%. We have another 40% that we raise just through the community, just asking for donations, and our community really steps up for us, and we keep asking and reaching out, and they come to our aid. And then the last is in-kind services and products. So for example, we have Starbucks provides coffee and tea for our programs during the day. We have Cobb's. Food security is also an issue in our neighborhood. So Cobb's Bread gives us bread on a weekly basis that we can hand out to those in need.
That's wonderful. That's really great. So you do a lot of fundraisers then, or you must have to do a lot of fundraisers in order to keep that 40% that you get through fundraising or from the community.
Yes, so we do fundraisers. So just recently we started our first neighborhood event in front of our building, where we blocked off the street and made a real neighborhood block party, and that raised $1,600. We had Van City Credit Union provide a bouncy castle. We had Geogon Marine. We're offering test drives, and with every test drive they donated money to the family place as well, and other community partners have stepped up as well.
So a lot of businesses from the very South Granville and Southwest Marine, because that is the whole Marpole area in there, they've been good with donating.
Absolutely.
Because you do receive a portion of your funding from the city or the province, do you have a responsibility to them? How does that work, or what do they expect for that money?
Yes. So it's very specific, and we every time we apply for a grant, and it's an annual process, we apply, we commit to certain outcomes or to certain programs. So for example, when we apply for a literacy grant, we commit to running certain amount of hours of literacy programming through the center or through the family place.
Oh, I see. And is there, the other thing I wanted to ask was, because you get a whole range of different types of people and different backgrounds that come through Family Place. Does Family Place respect all, like you don't get political, I would assume, and because you have so many different cultures and people from different backgrounds, is that a challenge to respect all of the different, all the diversity that you see coming through the doors?
Very, very good question. But, you know, we're a very open place. We respect all cultures, all people, all faiths, so that's just part of our fabric, that we are open and welcoming to everybody. We have different resources, so not only that we have programs within the Family Place, but we have different pamphlets that we receive from the City of Vancouver and multitude of different languages. So we do look to offer the services, and through the fellowship amongst the families themselves. So that is a way that they can connect from their own communities, and we're an open place for them to do that.
Do you ever take a stand on different issues, or do you just?
We're very respectful to people's own wishes and their own cultures, and we're here to provide information and facts. For example, we have a community nurse that comes once a week, so people are looking for information on vaccinations, or you know, the multitude of anyone who has a young child is faced with decisions and choices, and our role is to provide them with the information and the resources, and not to judge and not to set barriers. Just
I was going to ask, some people don't want to vaccinate, and so
we absolutely respect that.
That's their
decisions. We give them the information and what they're looking for, and that's.
And so who qualifies? Like, do you have to meet a certain criteria in order to benefit from some of the programs, or how does that work?
Right. So no, it is a completely open, a family place. Families with children are welcome from every background, from every financial situation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We do find in the Marpole area that we do have a higher than average low income population, and so we do look to offer programs. But
because it is West Side, so you wouldn't expect.
Wouldn't expect that, but it's as you know, as the different. We find every year the kind of people coming through
it changes.
So we have families that come back year after year, but we also find it is somewhat of a moving population, and you know, we're here to help in the season that they are, or the years that they are with us in need.
And now with the refugee situation, there's going to be quite a few more refugees coming into the Greater Vancouver area. How does that impact family places and neighborhood houses, and do you tailor any programs? Are you expecting an influx?
Right. So at the moment we don't know. So we know 3,000 refugees from Syria are coming to BC. We don't know where they'll settle, but as we do try and be nimble and try and act and react as best we can. But in general, we are a very open place for families to come in of every background. And if there is a need for a group, for a Syrian refugee group, we certainly would go to the different granting opportunities and see what kind of programs we could put together specific to those groups, and we're more than ready to meet that need.
Because I would, think it would be quite a culture shock for them. So, do you offer like language? Help with language learning, English, ESL, or things like that?
We do offer some ESL, but we do point to other programs in the community as well. So we do try and be very connected with the other offerings. So where we're not able to offer something specific, or perhaps we're just helping to find what the right program is for a family.
I see. That's great. So, what types of people get involved in terms of volunteering and sort of dedicating their time to making these programs work?
So we do have, so start with the staff. We do have 3 full-time staff that are early adult, early childhood educators,
Right.
and they're there and they're conducting the programs. We have lots of volunteers as well that help us in the community, and people step up, and we're always interested in more help. So
Right.
please, anyone who's interested, to reach out to us. But for example, we have accountants that help us do our books. We have students that help us in the summertime put on annual events. We have people that step up and help us with our website, etc. And that just when we have a need, we reach out. Families that may have come to us when their children were young, and now they're up and their children are bigger, and they come back and they help us and they volunteer with us because they know we do so much good work in the community, and they come and help us to do that.
And what do they say they get out of this? Like, what made you, like, for instance, even decide to go into this line of work?
Yeah, so we do have a volunteer board of directors, and we all put in our own time. But for me personally, I thought this was an incredibly worthy cause because I grew up in the Oakridge Little Mountain area, and my parents still live in the area, and I live close to the area. So my parents are using the senior services throughout the Marpole Oakridge area.
Nice.
Which is great. So I have a deep connectivity with the area. The second is I was away myself when my son, who's now a happy, healthy 14-year-old and doesn't need as much as my time, but certainly when he was born, my husband and I were living abroad, thousands of miles away from home. So I know just from firsthand what a vulnerable time that is, and
being in a different
country with different language and not quite having the social network. So that was the same for me. Suddenly you're at home and you have a child and lots of questions, and some days you just need to get out, and if it's a rainy, cold day, or if it's whatever the circumstance is. And gosh, what a great thing it is.
Or just to find your way around.
Just to find, where do I get clothes? Are there free clothes exchanges? What kind of health issues? My baby has these red cheeks and is teething, and where is there access to a health nurse, etc. Just other families to bounce ideas off of. And what did you do with when you had this situation? Or gosh, I need a new buggy. Where do I start? So just kind of basic questions when you're new to an area and maybe don't have the family network you might have had at home.
So the board,
yes,
it's actually run by the board.
Correct.
So who's on the board and who makes up the board, and what decisions does the board make?
Okay.
Curious about that.
Yes. Okay. So like I said, we have a volunteer board. We have 9 board members that come from diverse areas of the community, and I can give you some examples. So we have one person that is a grandparent that used to come to Family Place when her children were young.
Right.
We have an accountant in the area. We have a lawyer. We have a mediator. We have a fundraiser. We have a retired nurse.
Nice.
And myself, I work in the financial services industry. I work for Vancity, which is also very community-minded. And so that really resonated with me at their Vancity and the Family Place, our community partners. And we do a lot of work together.
I see. And so if there is somebody's thinking of starting a new program there, say it is for refugee mothers with small children or something, then the board would take a look at that and determine, to whether or not to go ahead for funding and to apply. Is that how it basically works?
So the board oversees the operation, so oversees the Family Place. The executive director and the staff, they'll come to us with ideas, or maybe the board says, hey, I think we need to spend some energy on this particular group. Then the executive director works through what kind of grants are available. Perhaps we can do this through some fundraising, and is the one that really kind of feet on the ground gets the programs together.
So what do they need to succeed, these programs? I mean, like right now, is it more funding? Is it more people? Is it both? Is it getting the word out so that people know that these programs are there for them to use?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. It's we continue talking to the community of what the community's needs are. Just the community knowing that we're here. It's just the first step. The second step is just again, time and energy of people. We have an incredibly dedicated group of staff and executive director that runs the family place, and of course funding. In the end, it's the funding and the donations from the community and the funding from the different levels of government that give us the resources to put the programs in place.
And people can just donate if they want, and we'll touch on how they can do that in a little bit. I wanted to ask, you do different things around the different times of the year. So say for instance Christmas, you do Christmas hamper, I believe?
We do. So we do a Christmas hamper program, and again, we get incredible support from the community. Choices helps us put together our food hampers.
Oh, that's great.
The Marpole Physiotherapy Clinic helps us to raise funds throughout the business community, as well as the Marpole Business Improvement Association. So along with the food hampers, we provide a turkey dinner. We provide gift cards for toys. So rather than a toy drive, we provide the families with a gift card, which is what the community helps us with. We had U-Haul help us last year get these baskets out.
Oh, I see,
and
right, yes.
It really is everyone puts their sleeves up and helps those in need to get the food, because again, food security is a big issue.
And so do you do like a sit-down dinner that people can come to, or is that a different social?
It's a different
oh, I see.
But we provide them with the meal.
Oh, I see. Okay. And during the summer and the spring time, do you do like a summer camp, or is there stuff that goes on?
Right. We don't do a summer camp, but with the fundraiser, the person on our board, so we're coming up with new ideas of raising funds throughout the year. But we do have a website, and we're always very happy for anyone that would like to donate to the Marpole Oakridge Family Place, or to come in, drop in, see our executive director, talk to our staff, and every little bit helps, and we're so appreciative of the support.
Have you noticed any decline in the support that you've gotten, or an increase lately? Like if you were to take, say, the last 5 or 6 years, how has that gone? Is it up in the community, down from the government, up from the government?
Right. It's fairly constant, but what I would say is the kind of grants change year over year. So as the needs change in the community, if we're more focused on literacy, or we're more focused on educating grandparents and seniors, pulling in seniors, so that's how the grants change throughout the year, but the donations.
But the overall
has been
amount.
Constant.
I see. So there hasn't been a huge decrease or increase. It's pretty steady at this point. And so ultimately, what do you see sort of, what would be a best case scenario, or if you could say, I want, if it could be any way that you wanted it to be, what would be the best?
The ultimate outcome.
The ultimate outcome of these programs and what Marpole Family Place does.
I guess we always want to offer more programs, and we always want to reach more families. And one piece of good news that we do have, in 2 years we'll be able to move to a bigger location at Canby and Marine Drive. So it's a big development, and we've been allocated some space there with some more capacity. So we do see that as being an incredible gesture for us to be able to offer the services more there in the Oakridge area, or the Oakridge Marpole. At the same time, we would like to continue being in the center of Marpole, either in our current place on Selkirk or back at the Marpole place.
I did have an opportunity to talk to 1 or 2 seniors, and they did express a lot of concern with the move, being, the programs being uprooted from where they are now, and then moved over to Canby and Marine, and that's a bit of a hardship for them to, travel that. I mean, it doesn't seem like a very far to you or me, but I know to the elderly it can be. So, is there any plans for a shuttle, or?
I think what we'll do is we would like to keep that location or somewhere close where we are, because exactly from that feedback we're getting, and just knowing people like to walk in and they like to be close, and just to continue on having a community place in Marpole, either at the 8877 Selkirk location or at the location that we were in previously.
Right.
Yeah, so absolutely, that is our, if I need to say what is our best case is, our ultimate case would be to have both the new location and continue on serving out of our location or a similar location in Marpole.
Right. And with what would you say would be the numbers of people that are actually using these programs? Like if you were to say, okay, I think we have, 50 families in the area,
Yeah.
and versus how many seniors? And is it more for the younger families or is it more seniors?
Yeah, I guess, so I haven't been with the family place for that long, but what I've observed is still we offer really the core program to the families, but our seniors programs are growing and are offering with the St. Augustine Church, with the City of Vancouver and the outreach, we're looking to serve the seniors through that avenue and trying to reach more seniors and vulnerable adults that way.
But you don't have like a definite number of how many families are using?
We have 40 families who are members, but we're low barrier, so there are lots more families that drop in and just come and see us. We don't want to set any kind of limitations.
Oh, I see.
And those that we have a $10 membership per year, and those that can't afford that, we waive that, and we have a $1 drop-in, but we waive that. So it's just a matter of we know what it's like for those low-income families that really every penny is important, and we offer the services to them regardless of whether their ability to pay for them.
And do you think once you move over to the bigger facility at Cambie and Marine, is that expected to bring in more families? Because more families, of course, in that area are going to know about Marpole Oakridge?
We do. I think we will be able to serve more families and more seniors and more immigrants. I think it's a great location to work out of, and a little bit more going farther east into more of the area closer to Maine. But we try and be as open as possible and try and serve anyone that is in need, any family in need. We help.
And have you heard or have you been told, expect 30 immigrant families that we see coming into the area? Have you heard anything like that yet, or?
Yeah, we haven't heard yet. I think it's still being built. I'm not sure what the numbers might be, but we are expecting to be able to serve as many, if not more, families from that new location.
And you guys have a fabulous website. I went on there and I saw, and it kind of lays out all of the programs and everything. And I think the website it's www.mofp.org.
Correct.
And on there, people can sort of find ways to get involved, either through donating or volunteering. And like you say, you count on the local businesses quite a bit, which it seems like they've been fairly supportive of this.
Yes.
And volunteers, what do? They just come down and
absolutely fill out a form, connect with our executive director, which is ed@mofp.org, or just come down and say hello.
I see.
And just drop in whatever means makes sense. Look at our website, our offerings there, our contact details are there. We are more than happy to take up a conversation and see what can be done.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for coming down today and talking to us. I wish all the best for Family Place, and thank you to everyone else for joining us.
Thank you.